In this lesson, we're investigating strength and concentration. Our lesson objectives compare the strength and concentration of acids and bases. When we talk about the strength of an acid or base, strong acids and bases will completely break apart, meaning dissociate in water to make lots of H plus for the acid and OH minus for the base. These create our normal neutralization reactions that we talk about in class, where an acid and a base makes salt and water. Weak acids and bases will only partially dissociate, so only partially break apart in water to make small amounts of H plus for the acid and OH minus for the base. So then how is strength different from concentration? Well, as we just said, strength refers to the ability of the acid or base to dissociate into ions. So here's a strong acid where it's completely broken apart or dissociated, and a weak acid where only some of the particles are broken apart or dissociated, and some are undissociated, as you can see here. Concentration is a measure in molarity, which is moles over liter. And so this is a reference of the amount of particles we have in solution. And so the higher the amount, the more concentrated you are. And so 1 molar or higher concentrations are considered concentrated, and when you're less than 1 molar, they are generally considered dilute. So here are some examples of strong acids like hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid. Strong acids, as we said, will completely dissociate, so they're going to lose 100% of their H plus ions to conduct electricity and react really strongly. As we can see here, when they go into solution, they completely dissociate into their ions. The same thing would happen for strong bases. They're going to lose 100% of their OH minus hydroxide ions to conduct electricity and react strongly. Recall also that acids will react with metals, and the stronger the acid, the greater the reaction, which can be visualized by the production of hydrogen gas. Strong acids react really strongly with, in this example, magnesium, and you see lots of hydrogen gas being produced and lots of bubbles. And then a weak acid will also react with the magnesium, but will get less production of hydrogen gas, and we see less bubbles. We talked about acids and bases being electrolytes, because when they go into water, they dissociate and they produce ions, and those ions will conduct electricity. Really strong acids and bases will completely dissociate, so we have more ions, which means greater conduction of electricity, as you can see in the light bulb lighting up brightly. And then weak acids and weak bases will only partially dissociate, so we have less charged particles, and therefore they don't conduct electricity as well as the strong acids and bases, and that's why it's not lighting the light bulb up as much. So recapping, what are the factors that affect the strength of the acid? Well, a strong acid is the one that completely dissociates or ionizes in a solution, and a weak acid only partially ionizes or dissociates. So let's check your understanding. Can you compare concentration to strength? At this point, you should be able to compare concentration to strength of acids and bases.